Oh, it's National Ice Cream Day today.
All righty, we are live.
Hi,
Kelly,
everybody.
you're taunting me with that beverage of yours.
I mean, it's treat cart day.
I
So,
know. I feel like now we should have used Build a Drink.
right? I was like, I have to have ice cream on treat cart day.
Hello, 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 everybody.
Hi, everyone. We're so glad you guys are here.
Ooh, and it is also National Donut Day. I saw lots of Dunkin' Donuts posts here on in Massachusetts.
Oh, wait, donuts didn't make it into Lawn Fun today, or did they?
No, Dave wasn't here.
So oh, yeah, I was surprised because normally there's some kind of donuts, whether it's donut day or not here.
Very nice. Very nice. Lots of you guys popping on with us. Thank you so much for joining. Let us know in the chat if you've joined us before for these Create With Us mini classes, or maybe this is your first time and you're just stumbling upon the fun that we're about to have.
Yes, we are going to have a blast tonight. We are so excited to be teaching another Create With Us class. And while everyone's kind of jumping in, I did want to mention there is a PDF handout for this class. So if you haven't downloaded this yet, you should. And Shari is going to put the link in the comments. It might be a nice thing to even pin Shari for the comments there. But this is what we're going to be using tonight. It has all these awesome coloring guides, all this great stuff. And so make sure you go and download this and check this out because not only is it fun and great for tonight, but it's a great resource for just coloring and using any of your favorite stamp sets.
Yay! Few people, it's their first time, but some people have been with us for years with the Create With Us's. I love it. I don't really know how to say that. The Create With Us's.
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
that's what always happens. Like I name Miles, but it's like Miles, and then he has a last name Alvarez Toy, but Alvarez is hard to pluralize, and so is Toy. So it's like a lot of names that are, and then his middle name's Henry. So it's like a lot. Everything ends in a letter that makes it confusing to make it plural.
I just figure I'm a creative chick, so I can just make up words when needed. That's what I was doing this past weekend teaching at my art retreat. I was making up words, but everybody seemed to understand what I meant. They were very descriptive words. So.
I bet we all understand. It's like a crafty language. We all understand, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys all for joining in. We love that we have new of you here for the first time, and then regulars and even people who have been since the very first Create With Us, which is awesome.
Love that.
Yeah, Create With Users, someone's saying. I like that.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Create With Users.
Yeah, we'll Create With Users.
Awesome. So before I flip the screen, I just want to let you guys know, like Kelly said, there is that downloadable handout. So if you're just learning about it now, you can go snag that either now or after. And we are going to dive right into coloring first. I color with Copic markers, which are alcohol-based markers, but you, of course, can use any coloring medium you would like. I think you'll find that the coloring guides are still a great guide. They give you some color combo ideas. They give you an idea where to maybe add a shadow. And so they're a great resource on their own. And then last Create With Us, we actually started playing with distress watercolor pencils. And if you're new to me, you don't realize I am obsessed with these. But so my goal is to make everybody obsessed with them. But we played with them during the last Create With Us, and we hosted a poll asking people if they wanted me to teach a little bit more with them, since some people did invest in them for the event. And so we are going to play with a couple really fun backgrounds, but you could do most of what we're going to do with our backgrounds with any water-based medium. So you could use regular distress inks. You could probably even get away with using your Lawn Fawn inks. So we'll get to that later. But also just know, if you don't want a watercolor, you can just use the wicked cute paper stash you have from Lawn Fawn and make some really cute cards too.
And before we start coloring, we have someone who wants to say hi.
Oh, yay. Hi, Miles. Somebody just
Miles.
celebrated a big birthday.
How are you 3?
4.
You're 4? Oh my goodness.
Oh, my
Well, some
goodness.
people asking, how was your birthday? Did you like your birthday party?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, was it a lot of fun with your friends?
Auntie Sonia.
Why is Auntie Shari up there? Yeah, we can see Auntie Shari. We can see her. You guys can't see her, but Miles can see her because we're seeing her on the end of our footage. Yeah. She's blowing you kisses.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, happy belated birthday, Miles. Looked like you had so much fun.
Now you see he's already seen my treat. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And while Miles is saying hi here, I wanted to remind you guys that we have our Inspiration Week coming up. It starts on June.
And Claire Bear's coming back.
And Claire Bear comes back on June 12th too. Claire Bear is
Sonia and Petra are coming.
Yeah. So a lot of things happen on June 12th. Inspiration Week starts. Claire Bear comes back, and Claire Bear is a Fawny here at LFHQ. And then Sonia and Petra are Erica's daughters. Erica is one of the other owners of Lawn Fawn, and they're coming to visit from LA on the 12th. So the 12th is a very exciting day. And then I also wanted to let you guys know, in case you haven't seen it, we are doing a shop and create with us, not create with us like this event, but shop and create at LFHQ. We've got a cute little sticker right here. We are doing this on June 27th.
The bear is like that. Is it going to be like that?
That's how we're going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to. And then the ice cream, like right there.
Yeah, and then
AI. Miles is going to be teaching these pretty soon.
I know, right? So we have this event coming up on June 22nd here in Rancho Santa Margarita, California, which is in South Orange County. Hey. So if you live in the Southern California area, we'll have Shari linked to it. We have the spots are going fast. We are almost completely filled up. So if you want to come and shop at the warehouse and do a make and take and hang out with your favorite Fawnies, then check us out on June 22nd.
Mom, why is there 2?
Why is there 2? Because we're making 2 cards today.
And the East Coast Fawnies, Jen and Shari, will be there in spirit.
Yes, exactly. And,
I love that drink.
You love that drink. I love that drink too, kiddo.
Auntie Jenny wants to love that drink too.
Yeah, see, we're going to watercolor, kiddo. See, like this. We're going to make 2 cards. Yeah. All right. So maybe, Jen, do you want to start coloring? And I'll keep reminding everybody about the June 22nd event and Inspiration Week too.
Perfect. So I'm gonna flip the screen so you'll be able to see Kelly and Miles and me, and then you're seeing my desktop, just so you're not confused. And so like I mentioned, the downloadable handout is available. I always share a swatch of the specific markers I'm going to be using. And that's helpful if you want to pull the identical markers, but it's also helpful if you're going to use a different coloring medium. You can kind of swatch out whatever medium that is that you're using and find similar colors. And the markers were a little bit a longer list this time because I couldn't resist doing a rainbow awning. I just had to do it. So that's what we're doing here. And then you guys have in the handout, you have my coloring guides. These are just my actual ones. So they're not as laid out nicely as you guys have, but I'll be following these along as we get started. And these are the 2 cards that we are going to be creating tonight. This one is just with the treat cart stamp set. And then it's also with the new stitched banners, which why do we just have these now and we didn't have these 10 years ago? I mean, stitching and Lawn Fawn. I mean, come on.
No, we were talking about making them, and people were saying, Erica was like, don't we have that? I'm like, we don't have it. She's like, what do you mean we don't have it?
I know, yeah. And then the second card, we are going to be using the new, Kelly will have to help me with the name of the stencil because I'm
Bunting Borders stencil.
Thank you. Bunting Borders stencil. Thank you. I haven't labeled my new stencils yet. So, okay. So we're going to get started and
bunting background. Excuse me. Bunting background. Bunting background is not bunting background. It's the stencil.
It's that ice cream drink. It's going to your head.
I know, right? It's all the sugar.
Mama.
So because we pre-stamp and die cut for classes, that way we're not spending a lot of time doing
Mama,
that and we're just getting to the
I
good stuff.
really need to make
I
something.
suggest putting your images on some low tack tape, especially the smaller images. It's a lot easier to hold on to when you're coloring. I didn't bother to put my treat carts on any low tack tape, but you could do that as well. And this is a trick I learned years ago from Mona Toth, who's on the design team. And I do this in my in-person classes and my online classes as well. And so I thought we would just do a little warm up and start coloring our bear first. I always like to try to start with maybe forgiving colors that blend really nicely together and they don't really fight you. And so I'm doing a very, very light brown. I wanted it to be very bright and summery and open and airy. So we're going to start with E41 and E42. And I like to start with the darker marker first. So I'm going to start with the E42 and I'm going to zoom way in for you guys. And I'm going to add the shadow to both of my bears first, and then we will go ahead and blend out. Now, you're not going to see all of your bear because he's going to be, well, one of them is going to be manning the treat cart, but I always like to give you guys the information on how to color them completely in case you switch up your card design. But we're going to go under the chin of the bear, and I'm going to do both of my bears at once. I'm going to do the little curve between his legs. And then I'm going to do his inner legs. So on the left leg, I'll do the right side. And on the right side, I'll do the left side. And then I decided I would just add a little shadow to the right of his face. But I am going to be pretty dramatic with it because it is a really light color. So I went pretty far over on his face because he also is a fairly larger critter. Got a little bit of room to work with. And then I actually leave this marker uncapped, and I'll kind of explain why as I go. But I'm going to blend with the E41, and I'm just going to do one bear at a time now, because if you're working with alcohol-based markers, blending happens when you saturate the cardstock and make it wet. And alcohol evaporates really quickly, so you kind of have to work fairly quickly. And so that's why I like to only work on one image at a time, so you're not having to work hard at resaturating an image. So once I get everything blended, I'm going to finish with that E41 and just fill in the rest of this one bear with just one layer of this marker. And then my other marker, my E42 that's uncapped, I just quickly grab it. And while my cardstock's still damp, I just go in and add a little bit more shadow where I originally did it, just to kind of deepen that, that shadow. Just kind of something I've started doing this past year, especially the lighter colors where you feel they just need a little bit more dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing with the second bear. So I first concentrate on blending the edges. I don't worry about coloring in the whole bear. I'm only blending so we don't see a line from the previous marker. And then I'll go ahead and finish filling in with one layer. And then I'm going to quickly go in again with my darker color, my E42, and just add a little bit of dimension back in. And I don't do that all the time. Again, I just tend to do it with my lighter color combos. I just find once you blend with the lighter colors, you kind of lose that definition. So I think Kelly's giving miles away to Mike, but she will be back, I'm sure. So now we are going to rosy their cheeks, but I also like to wait a minute until that alcohol is all evaporated. And then that way the marker will sit on top instead of seeping in. So I'm going to wait and we'll rosy cheeks all at once in a little bit. But while we have these two colors out, what I thought we could do is add some brown to our treat cart. I like to kind of keep us on one color so we're not feeling like we're running around looking for supplies. So I'm going to start with that E42 again, and I figure I'll just show you where I did the shadow on both of these carts, and then we'll blend one cart at a time. So on the side rails, I just did a little bit down from the awning, and then I came up from the main part of the cart, and I'll do that on this other one. And then on the main body part of the cart, I like to kind of turn my image, and I'm going to add a little bit on the left and a little bit on the right. Now, the part that we pre-stamped some words in, that's going to be a color. So I'm avoiding that area. I'm really just adding it where the wood of the cart is.
A cart and ice cream. Okay, it's okay. I cannot. Sorry.
Hello.
Hi, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. We had to say bye to Miles, but he really wanted to do create with us. So I gave him a treat cart and a bear and an ice cream so he can make a cart too.
Oh, yay. I know. It's so hard when you think everybody is having way more fun than you are.
Right? Oh my gosh. And we had a couple of questions I wanted to answer really quickly.
Yes, please do.
Someone's asking if we would have a longer event. So this is a really short, it's just 1 hour long here at the warehouse. You can shop at the warehouse and do a make and take. There are times where there was actually another group called It's Always an Adventure that sometimes hosts events here, and we're looking to do one of those in 2025. So this is a smaller event, but it's still going to be a lot of fun, and we're really excited to meet you guys. It's the first time we're ever doing something like this. So I'm guessing we're going to do another one of these events because I think it's going to be super fun, but this is actually the first time that we've ever done an event like this. And then someone's asking when the next big release is in August. I believe it's August 22nd. But we're also going to have lots of other fun things happening in between too.
Yay. Lots of other fun things in between.
Sneaky.
Those words.
So sneaky.
So sneaky.
She lost a bear and an ice cream.
I can do an ice cream on the bears. It's gonna be hard.
So now that we have the wood of the treat cart colored, I'm gonna do the little A-frame sign. I can't remember what I called this on the coloring guide. I went back and forth. When I used to manage a paper crafting store, we were on Main Street in Hyannis, which is a very touristy area. So we had a sign that we always put out, and my friend Melissa made it so cute. And I always called it an A-frame sign, but then I think I looked up a different term that seemed a little bit more.
I think you called it menu board.
Menu board. Okay. I just felt that was a little bit better description for this. So for the menu board, I'm going to follow the frame of the menu with my darker brown, the E42, and I'm also going to color the legs, and I'm just going to do a thin line at the top. And that way, the very tippity top of my menu board will be a nice light color. And so I'm going to take my E41 and I'll just blend that out and add a little color at the top. So I will just mention while we're coloring too, and while Kelly's catching up on coloring.
I know, I'll catch up.
I can totally tell. No worries. I just wanted to mention, I spent my morning getting kits ready to ship out for an upcoming online class I have called Beachcomber. And so if you did play with distress watercolor pencils with us during the last Create With Us, or you're playing with them tonight for the first time, my Beachcomber class is with the How You Bean seashell add-on, and it's all watercoloring. And if you guys don't know, I live on Cape Cod and I'm a part-time mermaid. So I absolutely love these cards and this class. And it was a class I taught in person at one of my events in March. So I had some extra kits to sell. And so those are available on my website. So you can either sign up for a kit and the class or just the class if you already own the supplies. So I just wanted to kind of point that out because I was packing and shipping those today.
Yeah, you don't normally have that, right, Jen? So it's just
No,
kind of
I don't normally do class kits like that. Scrappy Chic does, but I don't usually. So it's a little treat. Yay, Laura says, can't wait to get my beachcomber kit. It went in the mail today, Laura.
yay.
Yes, and there will be a replay of this Create With Us afterwards, and you can even see all of our previous Create With Us's. They're linked on the Create With Us webpage on Lawn Fawn's website. Yeah, can never have enough mermaids and ocean critters. I agree, Sophie. All right, so now while we have these browns out, I am going to color my cones. And maybe you guys can let me know in the comments. I think, did the poll end yet? I don't know. I might have missed it.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I saw it either.
I might have. Maybe Shari can tell us in the comments which one, donuts or ice cream. But I'm curious if you guys like to have a ice cream one.
Ice cream
Yay,
was
my
the winner.
favorite.
Yeah, same.
If you like to have a sugar cone or just the plain cone, so like this pointy cone or the plain
or
cone.
the like weird styrofoam one.
Yeah. There you go, Kelly. That's the way to sell it.
Sorry. Wait, I think I might have just let my feelings know about cone preference. Someone is asking if we'll be able to watch this again. Yes, not only can you be able to watch this one again, but you can actually see any of our previous Create With Us's. So if you click the link that is kind of pinned above, that'll take you to our Create With Us page, and you can scroll down. You can print out any of the previous PDFs, and you can also watch the previous lives. And then as soon as this one's available, it takes YouTube a little while to process it, but as soon as it's available, we'll have it available, and then you'll be able to see that too.
Actually, not to contradict you, Kelly, they can actually go to the beginning of our live right now and start watching it at their own pace. And I just learned that. So I just thought I would share it with you.
I actually didn't know that, but then it's like you don't get to chat live. So it's like,
right.
It's hard to
True.
choose. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. But you could kind of scrub through it and then catch back up too.
So for the cones, I colored them all the light color, and then I just traced the little grid lines with the darker color. I also colored my popsicle sticks and the teeny tiny ice cream cone and the tiny popsicle stick. I'm just kind of doing all the browns. We have an ice cream place up the street from us, and the line is always very, very long. New Englanders take ice cream very seriously. But the line is always really, really long because he hand makes your waffle cone for you. So like you literally have a warm waffle cone with your ice cream, and it does not drip because he stuffs the hole with a mini marshmallow. He is like a professional.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I wanted to just confirm, Jen, because I don't know if someone else might have this question, so if I'm coloring two different treat cards, but I'm coloring in them the same exact way.
For the browns, we are so far. Yeah. And it's actually all going to be the same. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But we're only doing the browns right now. We're kind of working our way through, which I think I have done everything in brown. I'm looking at my coloring guide and making sure, and I think I did. So we'll color our fox next before we get into the fun rainbow colors. And for the fox, again, I was really trying to keep everything light and bright and airy. I was channeling Elena, who all of her coloring is like that, and I love it, from the design team. So I used E13 and YR00, believe it or not.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going crazy here.
I know. I love the and I have a tendency to always be so bold. And so I often look at their cards and copy them exactly to get myself to color lighter.
Yes. Ooh, Brienne says we're going to go to that ice cream place when I come to the Cape. That sounds good, Brienne. We'll just start a whole long list for Brienne and all the things she can do on the Cape so that she'll be brave enough to come visit. Brienne has not seen the ocean yet, so I want her first ocean experience to be with me. Kind of like Shari's first lobster roll experience was with me.
Right? Oh, you gotta go.
So I'm using E13. I'll zoom in for you guys. And I'm shadowing the right side of the fox's head. I did that whole back ear and a little bit on the right side of his right ear. I'm going to do a little bit at the base of that left arm. I'm going to kind of connect under his chin. I'm going to go under his right arm and along his right side. We'll do a little bit on his bottom belly and a little bit at the base of that left leg. And then I also added some at the base of his tail. And this was all with that E13. Ooh, a blueberry soft serve in Maine. That sounds magical. Maine is known for their blueberries.
Wow, these sound lovely.
And so I'm taking the YR00 and I'm blending the edge. And believe it or not, it happens pretty easily, even though these are different color families. And once I get all my edges of the shadow blended, I'll finish filling in the fox with the YR00, avoiding his face. And remember, you can always jump back in because we're using all these light colors. You can always jump back into that E13, the darker color, and add a little bit more dimension back in. I like to do it on his forehead, and I love a dramatic critter tail. I don't know. It's just, so I add a little bit more in the base of the tail too. Any of the critters that have poofy tails, I like to really accentuate the poof.
Poofiness.
Yeah, the poofiness.
I have to say, I think that the fox is my favorite critter to color.
He's fun. Yeah, he's super cute. Now I wanted to.
I don't like the cake cone. With the cake cone's the styrofoam one, right?
Yeah, it is.
I don't like it, and I lost it. So I think it.
Well, there you go.
And it was offended, and now it's run off my desk.
So I just wanted to show you guys, I went out of the lines here on my fox. You can kind of see in that white area of his face. I don't like to use the zero Copic, the blender Copic. What I do is I just take out my Jelly Roll 08 white gel pen. I'm not going to color anything else on this face except for his rosy cheeks. So I'm just going to go over where I went out of the lines with the white gel pen. And nobody will know except for those of you that are joining us live. And I think it's just a lot easier to fix your mistakes with that than the blender pen if you're using Copic markers. So let me see. I can't remember. All right, so this isn't the combo that we used for the orange. So we are going to let's go ahead and do the green. Well, actually, let's do the green on our cart, which is where I had you guys pre-stamp whatever words or designs you wanted to decorate your cart. So it is G02 and G00.
And Jen, there was a question about RV00, and they were wondering
when I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think that I originally was going to have a bunny on the card, and I didn't. So you could use RV00 or the V00 on the menu board. But I originally had a bunny. You can even see he's colored here if you want to see that, if you want a bonus coloring guide. I just ended up not using him on either of my cards, but you could.
He's very Also, Miles wants to show you what he made.
Oh my gosh. 1 second, Kelly. I will make it you larger so they can really see. Oh my gosh. That is so cute. I love the ice cream on the awning, Miles.
It's an ice cream shop, so he says he put it there.
I love that.
Sweetie, I love it. You did such a good job. Such a good job. All right. You guys gotta go. You gotta go walk Mo. All right. I love you, kiddo. All the way up to your toes, kiddo.
Watching the dream.
All right. So we're using the G02 and the G00. And again, I kind of like to hold my carts sideways so I can pull my marker towards me. And so I'm starting with that G02. And I'm going to add a little bit of shadow on the left side and a little bit of shadow on the right side. Again, kind of on that band, the decorative band of the carts. And I'll go ahead and do it on both of them, the shadow. Avoiding that little ice cream cone if you also stamped a little ice cream cone. And then we're going to go ahead and do one cart at a time, and I'm going to blend the edges with that G00. And then I'll finish filling in that center with the G00.
And then someone's saying that they're new here and they're asking how often we do these kind of lives. So we do Create With Us, gosh, about every other month, Jen. It kind of depends, right?
Yeah.
And we always post about it on both of Lawn Fawn's and Jen's social media, and also in Lawn Fawn and Jen's newsletter. So you'll want to sign up for both of those because we do these quite often. If you click the link that we have pinned above, you can see all our previous Create With Us's, the PDF handouts, and the video replays as well. So you definitely should check those out because there's a ton of really great classes. And then, of course, in the future, we're going to have more.
So I'm using the G02 and we're going to kind of stick with that color. So we're going to start to color some of the stripes on our awning. And the far right stripe, I am tracing with the G02 on the left side of the far right stripe on the awning. And then that kind of fold before the scalloped part. I actually am really proud of myself at how softly I colored all of this.
I know. It's amazing. It's gorgeous.
I'm only patting myself on the back because I'm similar to you, Kelly, where everything's always so bold and bright. And I'm sure it was a challenge when I did this originally, but
yeah, they're so pretty. It's funny. Every time I'm like, oh, but I could just add more color.
I know.
Is also, I have like a very crazy rug in my house and I keep wanting to replace it because it's so crazy and it's old. And every time I look at rugs, I like want to be someone that would buy like a nice, neutral, beautiful rug. But every time I'm like, here's this rainbow one that looks like a stone threw up on it. I should get that one.
Right. Oh my God.
It's very hard to find little kids' toys on a rainbow rug.
I bet. So when we are coloring our awning, I would just remind you guys the little banner I did in rainbow as well. So that second to last pennant, I did just a little line of the G02 on the right side. And then I just went over that with the G00. So we're going to do our awning and our little banner at the same time. And I think that is it for green. Oh, you know what? I did the little centers of the wheels with the G02. You guys might have already caught that, but I did not.
I'm catching that with you.
All right. So now let's go ahead and go to the front of the rainbow. We'll start with pink. And so I'm going to grab RV13 and RV21. I saw a question a little bit ago, what to do if your white gel pen's not working anymore. So I really love the Sakura Jelly Roll brand white gel pen that I showed you guys, which I believe is what Lawn Fawn carries. And I have never had a problem with mine clogging. I leave it in a cup, tip side down, and it just always works. Sometimes I have to have a gentle hand when I scribble it out to get like the flow to go. If you're pressing too hard, the ball of the ballpoint pen isn't going to be able to bounce to let the liquid out. Sugar cone one, hands down as well.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, not surprised. I'm glad that we all can still be friends.
And then someone asked about shades of color cardstock, and Shari did a great answer saying our lightest green cardstock is cilantro, but that we also have the watercolor wishes and spiffy speckles. We also do have our textured cardstock packs too, and there's some really pretty pastel greens in those. And those are nice because there's texture on one side, and then it's like a nice and smooth on the other. So I would definitely check that out too, because I really love those textured cardstocks.
I forget about the texture cardstocks, and I recently used it to do a Mr. Sun card, and it really was so awesome. Like, I used that. I used a little bit of the lemon sparkle cardstock, and like you didn't really have to do anything else. It all took care of itself because you had a little texture, a little sparkle.
Yeah, right. A little. It makes it feel special, and also like the colors. Every time that I'm like, oh, I need this one cardstock. I can't find it. I can always find it in the texture ones because they have such pretty colors that are unique in the texture ones.
Right. So the center stripe on the awning is the pink. So I used RV13 to do my shadow, and now I'm using the RV21 to fill it in. And then if I remember correctly, there's quite a bit of pink on the card. So the first thing I'm going to do is the little ice cream on my cart. And I'm going to use RV13. You can use either pink is fine. And then on our little tray of treats, we've got a pink ice cream. So my pink ice cream is watermelon sorbet. It is not strawberry ice cream because I don't like frozen strawberries to touch my teeth. In case anybody needed to know.
I am actually very personally against watermelon flavored things.
Oh, wow. Okay. I can't say the last time I had watermelon sorbet, but as a kid, I would choose watermelon sorbet more often.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had even like watermelon, like a watermelon Jolly Rancher or whatever it might be. No, it's like candy banana flavor is in that same category for me.
Yeah, I
don't like the candy version of bananas.
Gotcha. Huh. Interesting.
And we have another very good question about if we're ever going to get cilantro cardstock back in stock. Please come back. We're waiting. I know it's so frustrating. Trust me, we are too. But we're trying to get it. So we're trying our hardest. But I will say that the new algae cardstock is a really pretty green that kind of helps fill in that cilantro when we're missing it. And then those texture cardstock have some beautiful greens as well.
So for our bigger ice creams, the one on the sugar cone is going to be pink, and one of our scoops is going to be pink. And then we're going to blend out with RV21. So I have a Lawn Fawn confession that I meant to share with you and Rebecca before I moved, but I accidentally over-ordered Rainforest cardstock one time. So if Lawn Fawn's ever out of Rainforest cardstock, just know that the East Coast Distribution Center has like a lot of packs.
Oh, I would write Dave because we may actually need that. So
okay, I will. Like maybe 60 packs.
Oh, we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take
It's
it.
totally fine. Like it was totally my mathing, which is not really mathing. I think I was so concentrating on the number of sheets and then forgetting that when you purchase wholesale, it comes in threes. So yeah.
No, we've got you because, like I said, it's been hard to get some of our favorite colors, and
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Reinforce
I'll
might be on
mention
that
it to him, but really, I'll use it eventually. It's a beautiful color. I love it. So, but it's a lot.
All right, since I'm catching
Yeah,
up,
go for
Jen,
it.
someone else might be like me. Where
Yep.
does the RV13, RV21 on the awning go? Is that
So I
the
did it on the center stripe,
okay?
and I went along the right side and on that center seam with the darker color.
Okay, got it. Because I wasn't sure the one next to it is, but it's more of a purple.
Yes. Yep. Purple's on the left and orange is on the right. And then your little banner, just remember to always add your little banner color too.
For our watermelon. It looks like there's a lot of watermelon fans, but people who also have feelings about artificial banana flavors. So I don't know a lot of people like that.
Watermelon Bubblicious was the best gum. It is the best gum, but for only 6.5 seconds. Oh, awesome. Yeah, somebody mentioned my advice of keeping little scraps in a filing cabinet. I have file hanging drawers next to me, and so they're all in rainbow order. And so I have all Lawn Fawn colored cardstock and pieces that are fairly big, or I'll even cut up a few quarter pieces. I find that I always have what I need at my fingertips, and I don't go through cardstock as quickly because I'm using, when you're die cutting all the little bits, you're kind of good to go. All right, I think that's everything that's pink. So now let's go ahead and do orange. We'll kind of go in order. So for the orange, I used YR00 and YR02.
All right. Hey, I'm
all
catching up.
of these colors are not my normal colors. Like they're all like practically brand new Copics, even though I've owned them for like 20 years. But it's good. It's good. We're stretching our,
I love that.
Yeah, stretching our color combos. So we're going to do the stripe on the awning to the right of the pink. And again, I shadowed on the right and I went along that seam with the YR02. This is kind of a melony orange, like melon. And so that's what helped keep it really soft in coloring. I also don't own all the Copic markers, so you guys might have better or different colors that you would use for a soft palette, and I would say go for it. Use whatever you would like. I'm just kind of working with the ones that I own. And then don't forget to do your little banner. And I think that's all I did for orange.
Oh, never mind. There's a lot of artificial banana fans. I'm glad that you guys you're defending the artificial banana. I like it. The good thing is I've always said, because I know I'm gonna freak everyone. I love black licorice. Most people don't, but it's the best thing to love things that other people don't like, because then you get all of them.
So well, and Josie kind of taught me in college, she doesn't like anything that makes her mouth blue. So I feel like even when I'm not with her, I feel like I'm like, oh, I can't have that. That's going to make my mouth blue. So we're going to do yellow, which is going to be Y15 and Y13. We're going to go ahead and do the stripe on the right of the orange. So between the orange and the green. And again, I shadowed the right and did that little seam above the scallop. And then we're going to blend out and fill with Y13. I'm probably going to bounce right back to Y15 and add a little bit more of that in just to have some of that dimension show up. Yellow's a tricky color to get that to stay.
That's a good reminder.
I'm going to do my little banner. And you guys could totally color your little banner just one color, of course. But if anybody knows me in my classes, I love to give you guys more information to get as much information as you can. And you can take it or you can leave it. It's whatever you want. I know it's Friday. Maybe you had a long week. And you're like, Jen, I am not using 2 markers on that banner. And I'll be like, that's totally okay. So on the little tray underneath our little mini treats, I colored that yellow. So I did a little Y15 on the left and the right, the darker yellow. And then I'm just going to blend it in towards the center with Y13.
Oh, good. There's a lot of other black licorice fans, and Tammy agrees with me on all the things. Maybe it's like a certain palette. You love black licorice, you don't like watermelon.
My grandmother loved black licorice. Ugh, no.
I love it.
All right, so now we're going to do blue. And so for blue, I did B02 and B00. And the blue stripe of the awning is going to be on the left side of the pink. And because we're kind of flipping on the awning, I'm going to shadow the left side of the stripes now instead of the right side. So I'm just going to follow along that left side and then do that seam above the scallop.
Oh, Jen, you have purple next to the pink.
Oh, shoot. Thank you. I was looking right at it too. That's okay. So I'll fix that later, but I'll do blue in the right spot. Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, I just noticed. Well, I actually already did that on my awning. I did the green where the blue should be, but I'm just going to go over it in blue, and it's going to make a beautiful color.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I'll figure it out.
Well, it's going to be like you can just make it more of like that bluey purple. It'd be beautiful.
Yeah, it's all good.
All good.
There was a question, Kelly. You hinted that there was a surprise packer who visited. Did we ever get an answer to who the mystery packer is or was? I actually know the answer, but
I know the answer too. Should we tell them?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, all right. It was Shari. Shari was here visiting. Shari and Matt came and visited, and they were here for Miles's birthday. We went to San Diego. We went to Disneyland. We had a ton of fun. It was so amazing. We missed them. I tried to convince her to stay. It didn't work. But it was Shari that was here. So yay. But we were joking because I don't know if anyone guessed it.
I did. But
I did as well.
I had an inside scoop. So So our last little banner on our little pennant on our banner is going to be that blue. And then I did the popsicle, the large popsicle. I used 2 colors. So the B02 along the right, the left side. And then blended with the B00. And then the little mini popsicle, I just did one of the blues. All right, then
I wrote, it was me in the comments.
I love it. Then we're going to do teal, because in my rainbow, it goes blue, teal, and then purple. So for the teal, I used BG13, and I actually did BG32 and BG11, but you could just use 2 if you want. you could take out the middle color.
Oops. I almost used my G00 instead of my BG32.
And so we're going to do that last little awning on the far left. And again, I'm shadowing on the right and along that seam with the the BG13. And then when I use the 3 colors, I just kind of go over what I did with the darker color with the medium color. So I'm just going over BG13 with the BG32. It's just kind of softening it a little bit to make the transition a little bit more seamless. But many times I only use 2 teals as well. So whatever you would like to do. And then the bottom of our little mini snow cone, so like the little wrapper for the snow cone, I did in teal. So you can choose any of those to just color the wrapper. And then we are on purple. So I'm going to get out V12 and V000.
This is a pretty color combo. I love this kind of purple.
Yeah, like lilac.
Yeah.
So on the large scoop that we still have single, I'm going to do that V12 on the left side. And then the little ice cream that's on the menu board, I colored it all V12. And then you're blending with that V000. The top of the snow cone, I did the V12, that little baby snow cone. And then we'll go ahead and do our last little stripe on our awning. So if you made a mistake like I did, you can see, I'll actually zoom in a little bit more. If I just keep swiping my V12 over where I did the B, it's going to overpower that color and you're not even going to really see that it's there, which is the beauty of alcohol-based markers.
The forgiving nature.
Yep.
This is so pretty, these colors.
Thank you. I kind of forgot about, I remembered what cards we're making, but I kind of forgot about the soft palette. And yeah, I really love it. And then the last thing, I just added a little bit of color on because it looked a little plain to me, is on the menu board, on that white background where we had the ice cream cone or we had the words, I just took that V000 and I just kind of flicked some color from the left side just to give it a little hint of color, a little bit of dimension, just so it didn't look so white.
And somebody was asking about where we're going to add glitter. I promise.
Everywhere.
I promise we're going to get to the glitter.
Yeah, we are going to add glitter. We're going to watercolor our backgrounds first. And on the handout, if you have that downloadable handout, I actually list everywhere that I added glitter. So if you want to work ahead or work in a different order, you can definitely look at the list there. But we will add glitter towards the end. So I'm going to set my colored images aside and we are going to get out. You should have 2 panels of watercolor cardstock, one for each card. I'm just going to take both of them out right now. We're only going to work on one at a time, obviously, but they're the same. So I figured why not just take them out. Oh, thank you. Cheeks on Critters. See, that's why I keep you guys around. So what did I do a lot of different colors. So RV10, I'll add a little bit of rosy cheek to the fox. And I said singular cheek because we only see one of them. And then I'm going to add a little bit of rosy cheeks to the bear. And if you just are gentle with your alcohol-based markers, but just continuously tap, that pink will overpower that light brown color. But just be gentle. We don't want to ruin the tips of our markers. And I also like to kind of just let it evaporate and see later if I want to add any more pink to them. Glitter goes on Josie's hair, right? Oh no, that was glue.
That's
Yep.
right. Did she have, I mean, hopefully she had really shiny hair after that.
Yeah, she did. And sadly, she's not here crafting with me tonight because she does live 3 hours away. So it's only when it works out in our working schedule together. Okay. So this is Distress Watercolor cardstock. It's my favorite watercolor cardstock to use. And Lawn Fun stocks it in their online shop. What's nice about it is the price point. It's not super expensive, which is really nice. It's affordable. Because watercoloring can be a very fine art, there are some very expensive watercolor papers out there. It's a nice bright white, true white color, which I like. There's no off-whiteness to it. And I love that there's a smooth side and a textured side. I've been on a little bit of a smooth side kick lately, but what we're doing tonight, you can most certainly use the textured side or the smooth side, whichever you would like. And so we're going to start with the background for this card right here, which we're going to end up using our stencil. And what you'll want to have is a piece of plastic. Now, it could be a piece of acetate. It could be a piece of plastic from your stamp packaging. I'm going to just use one of my clear bags that I put my cards in, but it really can be anything. I would just, if you're going to use stamp packaging, just take the cardboard out of it and you're not going to ruin it. So you can reuse it after. We're going to wipe it clean. And so what we're going to do, and you might want to kind of just watch me first and then do, just so you can kind of see the steps. Like I mentioned, I am going to be using Distress watercolor pencils. Distress watercolor pencils are a woodless watercolor pencil, meaning there's no wood encasing the pigment. And because of that, there's a lot of fun techniques that you can do with them. And one thing that I love to do with mine is actually take the whole pencil and dip it in my cup of water. Now, I think you guys can tell my Distress watercolor pencils are very loved. If yours are newer, you'll want to dip your pencil a little bit longer than I am because you're still breaking yours in. But I'm dipping it enough so that the pigment on the tip of the pencil is getting a little soft. And I'm just going to put my Distress watercolor pencil under the plastic just so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. But I'm just going to rub my pencil onto the plastic on the side. So I'm not writing like a pen. I'm wiping it on the side. And I'm laying some of this pigment down on my plastic. Now, tumbled glass is a really light color, so it's not going to really overpower or, look super bold because it's a light color. Then what you do, once you get some pigment on there, I just use my Distress sprayer, and I'm going to add just a little bit more water just to kind of get it flowing. And again, my white cardstock's just under here so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to flip my plastic. Some of the pigment from my pencil might drip off. That's okay. But then I hold my plastic like a U Can you guys see that? And now I take that plastic and I kind of roll and lift. And what that's doing is laying down the pigment, but also you can press the plastic back down onto those pigment puddles and pick them up to roll and move them elsewhere. And this is kind of what I have. I'm going to use my distress sprayer and kind of spritz a little bit just to kind of break up those pigment puddles is again me making up terms, but hopefully that makes sense. And then I'm going to use my heat tool to dry my first layer. And I'm going to do this 2 or 3 times. I would just recommend, because you have a little bit of control with the plastic, with knowing where your color's going to go, I would keep about an inch on the bottom empty, because we are going to be stamping down there. And I think kind of, this is our sky. I think kind of leaving the ground white is great if it works out. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Does that make sense, Kelly?
Yeah, it does. I mean, mine doesn't look as pretty as yours, but.
So this is a very similar to ink smooshing with an ink pad. I call it pigment. I call it pigment smooshing. But if you were to ink smush with tumbled glass right next to it, it just looks different. So it's just fun to kind of recycle those techniques with a different medium.
Yeah, and I think what happened with mine, which might help some other people, is I definitely needed to spray a lot of water. I had this big old line of paint in the middle, and so I just had to spray a lot of water onto my cardstock, and that's helping a lot.
I was going to say, yeah, if you don't like the way it looks, you can definitely break things up on your watercolor cardstock with your distress sprayer for sure.
And I'm going to mute when I use my heat tool because mine, I think, is louder than yours.
Okay, I think it's going to mute itself, Kelly.
Oh, okay. Well, let me know.
Try it and I'll let you know, because...
Is it okay?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Yep. So this is my first layer. So you can see some of that pigment and all the really fun little veins. And so now I'm going to add some more pigment to my plastic. So I'm dipping my pencil in the cup of water and I'm rolling the side of the pencil. I'm not holding it like a pen and using the tip of the pencil. This is just a faster way to lay more pigment down. If you're using the tip of the pencil, it's going to take a long time. So I have been teaching with the Distress watercolor pencils in various ways for a while now. And I'm loving the feedback from everybody that's been doing the classes and stuff, because I think you guys are realizing watercoloring is actually really forgiving and it's very freeing and it's just so fun.
Yeah, the scribbling, it's just fun.
Yeah, it's just fun. So rolling, having your plastic like a U and rolling it and kind of plopping it down. I try to preserve some white space above and beyond that inch towards the bottom, but I try to leave some white space just because it's going to look cool. But so here's my second layer. I'm going to go ahead and maybe break up some of these pigment puddles. And then I'm going to dry it. And I actually might be done. I might not do a third layer. I'm really happy with how this looks. Remember, we're going to stencil on top of this. So that's why I chose tumbled glass, which is a really nice light blue. And I don't want it to be too overpowering. I just didn't want a white sky for our banner to hang out in.
I'm dripping paint everywhere.
I love you.
That's okay. I have a colorful floor.
So we've talked about this before. Some of the, I like many things about hosting these Create With Us lives. But one thing is I love getting Kelly out of her comfort zone, which I'm sure I'm getting a few of you as well out of your comfort zone. It's good.
It's good. I like it. I'm laughing because mine has extra added texture because I used my cloth here to dry up some of the excess water I had on there. And now
perfect.
It's dust and things.
Thank you so much, Robin. She was just saying that the watercolor pencil classes are awesome and so very helpful. I love to hear that. Thanks, Linda. I'm glad you love this look. It's just kind of fun. If maybe you're not in the mood of ink blending or using pattern paper, it's just kind of freeing. I could just make pigment smushed backgrounds all night after a long day because you don't really have to think about it. So this plastic piece, like I promised you, if you used your stamp packaging and you want it to be clean again, I just use my flour sack cloth that's always in my lap, and I'm just going to wipe this off, and it'll be good to go, brand new. Ooh, yay, Kat. Congratulations on owning the full set of Distress watercolor pencils. And if you're looking for any inspiration, with Lawn Fawn and Distress watercolor pencils, if you just go to my website, which is shirkus.com, my last name.com, just search Distress watercolor pencils, and every card I've ever posted using them will come up, and there's a lot of Lawn Fawn cards.
Ooh, I want to go search that. Okay, I like how mine turned out. It's got like little.
Oh, I love it. It looks great. It looks great.
And someone wants a link for the watercolor class too.
Ooh, I bet Shari will be right on that. So there's 2 different watercolor classes, and you don't need specific stamps and dies to take it. And so there's a part 1 that I did last year that's still available to take, and I just did part 2 in May. So there's no like rule that you have to do part 1 first, but I think you'll get more out of it if you do part 1 first. All right, so now we're going to stencil with our watercolor pencils. So I'm going to use my Wendy Vecchi Make Art Station, and I'm going to just take a little bit of removable adhesive and put it on my back of my watercolor cardstock. And don't worry if your watercolor cardstock's not laying flat anymore. Once we start making our card and putting it onto our pattern paper, it's going to lay flat again. Right now, it just needs to kind of be there. It doesn't need to be perfect. And so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part of the stencil with all the different pennants, and I want to make sure lawnfawn.com is legible the right way. That'll just help things line up next time. And I use the 2 smaller strings at the top, and you'll see here on my card. And so I'm just going to kind of figure out where I want that. Again, it's going to be up towards the top of the card, and it can obviously go off the edges. And once I get it where I like it, I just use the magnets that come with the board and hold it in place.
Are we going to be trimming down the piece that we have, Jen?
We are, in typical Jen influenced by Shari fashion. We're going to take 1/8 of an inch off of all 4 sides, or for extra credit, you guys could run it through your larger outside in stitched rectangle from Lawn Fawn to get that really cute stitching. I like to do that, especially when I'm watercoloring or stenciling. I think it just cleans up the edges nicely.
Yeah, I like it too. I was just I was deciding how to put my pen, and I was like, ooh, I want to know.
Totally understand. I see Lisa in the chat. Lisa is one of my friends. She lives in Connecticut, and she actually kit half of the pieces for the Beachcomber online class that I have. She painstakingly did the seashells with smiley faces on them.
Oh my goodness.
Not all of them, but I had to have a few seashells with smileys. Like, it was so cute. And she agreed. But it was that extra step. Okay, so once again, if you maybe want to just kind of watch me first, and then we'll kind of just work on it together. But I just think sometimes when we're learning something new, it's really helpful to kind of watch first. So what I did for this, and I'm going to start with just the middle banner, just so I'm not on the edge, so you guys can kind of really see what I'm doing. I'll actually start with Wilted Violet. So what I did is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to trace the stencil on the right side, because I want the right side of the banner to be shadowed. So Wilted Violet is approximately like the third one in on the bottom. So I'm gonna and I'm kind of scribbling a little bit back and forth to really lay some of that pigment down. So hopefully you guys can see that. And then let's see, we're gonna do pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Yep, I wasn't sure if I was gonna have purple on the top, but I do. So again, I'm just doing a generous line on the right side. And now this is kind of the part where it might, remember, this could be a practice background, okay? Like hopefully, I mean, clearly if you're playing along with us, you've bought a package of distressed watercolor cardstock. And just know that you can come back to this and try it again. And I'm only just mentioning that because it's all about figuring out how much water you need, but we don't want too much water because we don't want the color to go under the stencil, okay? So I'm actually going to use a smaller round brush than I usually use, all right? And I'm going to dip my brush in my water cup, but then I actually touch it to my hand just to make sure that it's really just damp. We don't want to see a droplet of water on the tip. Make sure there's no droplet on the barrel, like if you dunked your brush in really deep. And holding my stencil, I'm going to go over the line, and similar to what we do when we're blending our alcohol-based markers, we're going to start to blend with the water, soften this line. If you need a little bit more water, you can get it. Let me zoom in really good for you guys. And once it looks nice and soft like this, I'm going to clean my brush, make sure there's not a lot of water, and nothing's on my brush. I'm going to pull from this line to fill in the rest of the triangle. So we're basically blending and adding shadow, but we don't have too much water where it's escaping under the stencil. No worries, Tina. You can always go back. You only missed the Copic coloring. You can watercolor with us right now and go back and color later your critters and stuff. It's fun, right? You just have to
really fun.
You just have to be aware of how much water you have. That's all. You just can't be like slapping it on, you know. You just kind of and if a little bit goes under the stencil, you'll see kind of up here on my purple, I had a little bit go under. It's okay. It's meant to be. I think I had a little bit over here on the green too, and the pink. It's meant to be a watercolored look. It's not meant to look ink blended. If we wanted it to look ink blended, we would ink blend, right? It's just kind of fun, and it's a fun, different way for us to use our stencils. And I actually find it really relaxing because it's just, I don't know, it's just fun. I think maybe it's the water. It's just very relaxing to like move things around. So we're going to do the whole banner, and I went in rainbow order. So I'm going to do Spun Sugar next. Now I have a little bit more of a challenge than you guys because my pencils are so loved. I don't even have a tip to like nicely trace things, but I'll figure it out.
And Jen, are we doing the same thing, like tracing that corner?
Yep, tracing the right side and then adding water. So I'm actually going to trace all my banners now that I showed you guys how to do it. I just kind of wanted, so I'm going to trace, Spun Sugar for pink. I'm going to use Spiced Marmalade for orange. And I've been chatting with those of the people that take a lot of my classes and follow me. This is not a trend for me. Distressed watercolor pencils are not going to go away. I promise I won't do watercoloring in every Create with Us. But I definitely see down the road us doing more with these during our Create with Us, because I just think it's fun.
It's super fun.
And if you don't have the exact, I kind of meant to mention this, but if you don't have the exact colors we're using tonight, what's nice about how Ranger and Tim broke up the sets is there's a good rainbow of colors in each set. So, I'm using spun sugar, but you could be using any of the reds or any of the pinks. Like, it doesn't have to be the same. And that's one thing I really love is you don't necessarily need to purchase all the sets at once. You can get a good variety. And Michelle's asking me what size my brush is. Now, my brush is a size 2.
And I used a 4 and I was okay. Because
I was going to say, yours are the Ranger brushes, right, Kelly?
Yeah, the old Claudine
Helmuth. Yeah, the old Claudine Helmuth ones.
And I was okay with my 4.
You could use the 4, but if you have this one that I can't read because it's chipped. Do you have it maybe, Kelly? No.
I mean, it is long lost.
Beat up. Okay. Yeah, you can use the 4 from the Ranger set, but I would recommend using the smaller one. You can see the comparison here.
I found it because I have it somewhere separate because this brush is my white paint splatter brush.
Oh, okay.
I love the size for that.
And can you read the number on it, or is it so beat
up?
It is
a number 2. It is a number 2.
It is a number 2.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to try that one now.
I just think you're going to have more control and less chance of water, which is kind of what we want right now. So I'm using Spice Marmalade, and then for the yellow, I used mustard seed.
Oh, this is super fun. I did this.
And it is okay when you draw with your watercolor pencils, the distressed watercolor pencils, you see all the little crumbling happening. That's just the nature of the pencils. There's nothing wrong with them. And utilize that to your advantage. All those little speckles of pigment, blend that right into your shadow, right? All right, then I'm going to use Twisted Citron for my green. And then, because I'm preserving my peacock feathers, Kelly, look how little my peacock feathers pencil is.
Oh, it's in the danger zone.
It's in the danger zone. So I used Salty Ocean. I'm starting to branch out with my color choices. I do have a backup, by the way, but
it makes you use your it makes you use what you got, right? You're like, oh no,
exactly.
I do like Ocean, right? Yeah.
Well, I was sharing this past weekend during my virtual art retreat online that having all the pencils has really had me fall in love with certain distress colors again that I kind of forgot about. And so it's having me gravitate back towards the ink pads as well, not just the pencils. I'm like, ooh, Broken China. I forgot how pretty this color was.
Right.
And,
I
so it's been really fun. Yeah.
I feel like I overused Broken China so much when I first started crafting. And then now it's
because that was the only teal that Tim gave us. I mean, that was before he gave us all the bright colors.
Right? Yeah.
So. Oh my gosh, Monique. Monique is I believe she's in the Netherlands. She takes a lot of my classes and she slept through her alarm. It's 2:30 in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
No worries. All we did was the Copic coloring. You can catch up on that later. You can start watercoloring with us.
Thank you for setting your alarm. Oh my goodness.
I know. Thank you for joining us. Oh, thank you, Barb. She says she uses her watercolor pencils a lot more since taking my classes. When did Brianne guess that it's going to be gone? I don't know what that means, Liz.
I'm not sure either.
Maybe Brianne will know if she's still here. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. What did I do? Oh, my gosh. Look what I did. Oh, party foul. But that's okay. I think I'm going to be able to fix it just like
Well,
with
you know, it's going to
Copics.
match your awning because it's actually your awning wasn't your awning blue and purple. Like it'll
Yeah,
go.
yeah, pretty much. No, I think I'm going to be able to add water to this and pick up this blue and let it dry a little bit and then go over it in pink. See, I can't talk and do rainbow order at the same time.
I do that all the time when I'm coloring. I'm like, oh gosh. And Miles always, he sees it and he corrects me because he loves rainbow order. And he loves it because I spent his early childhood entertaining myself while he was like on those little baby mats, like batting at the thing, you know,
Yeah.
his toys in rainbow order. And I would send you and Shari pictures
Yes.
of his toys and put them in rainbow order. And now he's obsessed with doing things in rainbow order. And I was
That's
like,
so
oh,
funny.
that's definitely mom's fault.
Speaking of rainbow order, I have in my watch list, and on Netflix, they have the Reading Rainbow documentary, and I can't wait to watch that.
Oh, no way. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's a good time for a hint because if people like reading rainbow,
Yes.
we might like something in our fall winter release.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Maybe. That something in the fall release made me miss something in my old neighborhood. And I was like, ooh, maybe we need to have that in my new neighborhood.
Oh, you could make that happen yourself with Chris's skills. Another hint there. I don't know if people will put it together, but
so we joke about Chris's woodworking skills. He is so not me. He's a perfectionist in a good way. Like, and you have to be, right, when you're building something with wood. Like it probably should be straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably should be straight. But the results of that are it sometimes takes him a little bit longer to do things than I would prefer. But it's okay. It's usually it is always beautiful. So every time I switch between colors, I'm just making sure my brush is clean, but I also want to make sure it's not too wet. So I always just touch it to my hand, and I just feel like I have a better sense of how much water is there by my sense of touch, more so than my eyesight.
That's honestly one of my favorite tips I've ever gotten from you because I never had thought to do that. And I always struggle with too much water. And as I'm wearing my glasses, clearly my eyesight is not, top notch. So it actually really helps me.
So you guys can kind of see I had some blobbing happening under my blue. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to panic. I'm leaving my stencil in place, but see, I've got a lot of stuff going on here. I'm just going to go in with a clean brush and just lay some water down outside of my banner where I don't want this to be very dark blue. And then I'm just going to use my flour sackcloth and I'm just going to blot it up. And you'll see it's hardly there anymore, especially since it was blue. And then just wipe the back of your stencil so you're not laying down pigment again. But it's, again, watercoloring can be so forgiving once you kind of get the hang of it. And I don't know, I just always feel so artistic when I actually do it.
I really want to lift up my stencil, Jen. I did all my pennants. Is it okay to lift it or is there another
Yes, if your pennants are done, you're more than welcome to lift your stencil. I still have a few more to go, but yep, you don't need the triangles down anymore.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's so pretty.
Yay! I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that excitement.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Oh my gosh, it looks so pretty. I love it. Yay.
That was really fun.
And that's cool. I see you're using your Altenew. Is it the stamp wheel that you're using to hold your stencil on? That's great.
Yeah, I had it out on my desk already, and I was like, you know what? I like this thing. I'm going to use this.
There you go.
I'm kind of a twitchy person. It's good for a twitchy person. The magnets, sometimes I knock into them,
Yep. I get liking a supply, and I am just like, it's a very Taurus thing. I don't really follow astrology very much, but you're one of the things you always read about being a Taurus, being born in May, is like you're very loyal. And I am about my supplies. Once I like a supply, I'm good. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to.
I'm a Virgo, and there's things about me that are very, you're supposed to be very organized, and when I am not that. I am
Yeah.
very type A, but also a complete mess. So I feel like, I don't know, I'm like a confused Virgo.
Yeah, there
This
are
is
some things that I read that I'm like, oh, that's spot on. And then some things I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, I got that.
So again, I had a little bit of running here. I think it's because I'm rushing. But again, I'm just going to go in with a clean brush, lay some water down, and blot it. I'm not trying to get rid of it completely because I like the look, but I'm just trying to clean it up a little. Like this yellow, that does not bother me. Once we put the whole card together.
I have to say, I actually really like the like color dripping from them. It like makes it almost like it's a rainbow sky, or like when there are pennants in the sky, that's sort of that reflection, like those plasticky pennants, you know?
It's almost showing movement too, you know? Like,
yeah, it's so pretty.
Yeah. So how's everybody doing? Laura said organized chaos. That's me.
All right. I'm curious how.
83 minutes in and Kelly has a hint. I actually think she said another hint earlier.
I did. I think I did.
So I think we're 2 hints in.
Yeah.
Oh, Liz says her husband, her son, and her only sibling are Tauruses, and they are all very, very loyal. And very stubborn. I'm very stubborn. I know that.
I mean, that's like the bullheaded thing, right?
Yeah,
Like that's
it totally is. Yeah. So stubborn.
All right, Mary's doing great with her pennants.
Awesome. Yay. All right, so mine's a little wet. I'm going to just dry it with my heat tool before we go to the next step. I got a few little puddles, and I don't want to smush them when I put the next stencil down. Oh, you totally can do this, Elizabeth. I know you can. And then I also know that this is just a piece of paper.
That's true. And I know you can, because if I did it, anyone can do it, because I'm not used to doing things like this. And oh my goodness, now I want to do it all the time. It is so fun.
Yeah, and I should say Kelly like sees the cards, but she doesn't practice these techniques before we go live.
No, I'm doing it really with you guys. I see the cards because Jen texted me a picture, but I think it's fun to be doing it along like live. That's what's so fun about it.
Unlike me, I can't say this is the first time I've done it because it's my technique I'm sharing with you guys. But all right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to lay down our other stencil so that it lines up so we can do our little connector pieces.
And I have this on my computer. I just have to show you guys again. It's so cute that Miles made me this.
It's so cute. I love that he put the ice cream on the awning. Like,
I know, it's actually so cute.
Like, such a good marketing choice.
I know, there's like so many things he does. I'm like, oh, this is so cute, you know?
Put a magnet down. My eyeballs are at the angle that I'm at are having a hard time seeing the amazingly etched lines that we have. Normally when I'm crafting by myself, I can see them, but. So once we get our stencil in place for the lines, what I did for here is 2 things. And you can just do 1 or you can do 2. But what I did is I just took a little bit of hickory smoke on my paintbrush and I just drew in the lines. Then what I did after I dried it, I just used a black micron pen and went over those lines. So you could do just the micron pen and then that's it, or you could do both, or you could do just the watercolor. It's whatever you want. I felt after I did the watercolor, I wanted a little bit more substance, but that was just me. So let's see what it ends up looking like today, and we'll see what I do. Again, very, very little water. So the way that I'm doing this is I'm taking my wet brush and I'm picking up the pigment directly from the tip of the pencil, just to put some of that pigment on your brush. But again, you just don't want a lot of water. And then I'm just going to draw the little lines on the little connecting pieces. And this doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be all filled in. It's just kind of filling in that gap. So once I get that done, I'm going to move my stencil away. And then this is when you could decide you can use the stencil to draw the micron in or not. See, now I actually like it without anything.
Yeah, I gotta say, I kind of mine's really smooshed out a lot more than I would like. Do you have any tips, Jen? The gray.
You could go with the water. Go in with the water. Do one little section at a time, and you can clean it up.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think anyone who's using a newer pen, I hadn't used hickory smoke before, and so it just got, you know what I mean? It was just, I should have tested on
a little water and then blot it with your cloth, and then a little water and blot it with your cloth. But just do one little area at a time.
Yeah. Then I need to go on a little side paper here, scratch paper, and practice because I think when it's a newer pencil, you really have to kind of get it going, you know?
Yeah. So Elizabeth was just mentioning she finds watercolors kind of uncontrollable. And that's why she's a little nervous to use them. So you do, and I talk about this a lot, you do have to let go of a little control. But I think the more that you use them, the more you're going to learn when to use a lot of water, when to use a medium amount of water, and when to use a little bit of water. And once you start to learn those things, you're going to actually have more control. But I really think you can do it, Elizabeth. And remember, this is just a piece of watercolor cardstock. If you don't like how it turns out, you can let it go. So I'm going to set this background aside. Once Kelly kind of tells me she's good, because I want to make sure I'm giving everybody else enough time, we'll start our next background.
Okay, I'm getting there.
Yeah,
I just kind of, like I said, I think, you know, that when it's a newer pencil and this was a color I hadn't used before since it was gray.
You probably picked up a lot of pigment.
Yeah, and it kind of got all smooshy.
Oh, good. Okay, we got some people who like theirs. So Rosalinda, my classes can be found on my website, which is mylastname.com, shirkus.com. And I know Shari is helping with comments and linking. But from behind the scene, oh, there she is. If you can hear me, Shari, I know you had to step away, but if you could just link my website or my class page, Rosalinda was asking about it. Thank you. Poor Shari was probably like doing a bathroom break or something. None of that's allowed.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh, Liz, I'm so proud of you. Liz says she's still using her dirty water from Creative Journey Art Retreat. I was sharing that because these pencils are so pigmented, you can have very dirty water and still get the brightest colors from even like light colors like squeezed lemonade. Oh, I love it, Kelly. It looks awesome.
Yay. Oh, this is so fun. Oh,
yay.
For goodness sakes.
I love that. Well, if you think that's fun, wait until we now do this next technique. You are going to have to let a little control go.
And you know what? This is good for me. I need this in my life.
But I'm going to guide you
today.
And I know you can do it. So we are going to make a drippy, yummy, rainbowy ground for our scene to be built on. Okay. So I'm going to give you the measurements. This is an approximate measurement. I'm not going to measure mine, but I know many of you are going to want to. It's approximately 2 3/4 of dripping. All right. So if you want, I'll even do it. So, because I know the majority of you will want to do it. I'm just going to take a pencil. We only need to know this for our first drip, and then we'll know what we're doing. And I'm just going to do a little tick mark at 2 3/4. And it's a vertical card. So, on the 5.5 end, I just went up from the bottom, 2 3/4. Okay. So again, I would watch me first because we have many drips to do together. And I think if you just sit back and watch, I think you actually learn a lot more than trying to do it at the same time as me. So even though it looks like we don't have control, we do. Part of this is going to be a little hard for you to see on camera, but just stick with me, okay? So now I'm going to use my larger round brush. I think in the Ranger set, it's the 4, or I don't know. I get so confused. I thought all these years my brushes were labeled the same as the Rangers, but you want a larger round brush.
This is my 4, Jen, if that helps.
No, then you want your 6.
Okay.
If you could hold those two up for me, Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
If you have the Ranger set, which I love, and I think it's a great set of brushes, very affordable, you want your 6.
6.
So again, just stick with me. At first, you're not going to really see anything because my water's clean, believe it or not. But what I'm going to do, let me zoom out just a little bit so you guys can kind of see what I'm picking up and stuff. I'm going to take my paintbrush. In this case, we want a generous amount of water on the tip of the brush. I'm not going to brush it along the edge of the cup like this. I'm dipping it in the water. And I'm going to start to draw along that pencil line. And then I'm going to start to make a drip. And I know you can't see. Stick with me. I'm going to pick up pigment from my Spun Sugar Distress Watercolor pencil. And I'm going to touch it to the water. And what's going to happen is the pigment is going to start to run down the water drip, right? So if you want more, you can go in and add more pigment. If you want even more movement, you can go in and add some more water. Can you guys see that on camera? Is that showing up okay?
Yeah, can you actually say it all one more time? Like you added the water drip. What did it look like when you did that?
So I'm actually going to do the orange next.
Okay,
so
perfect.
I have a clean brush. Well, clean. My water is not perfectly clean, but you get what I mean. I'm dipping it in the water, but I'm not brushing it off the edge or anything. I'm just dipping in, so it's very, very wet. It's almost dripping. And I'm going to start to draw along the line, the invisible line that we just are creating. And then I'm going to just do like a little squiggle down my paper. Drip in some water. What's happening is the water's going to stay in the lines. And your pigment is going to stay in the water line that we're creating. So I just loaded up my brush with salt, spice marmalade. And do you guys see how it moves down that drip? That drip is the shape I made. So it looks like...
Jen, and how drippy should it be when you're getting the pigment off?
It can be very drippy the whole time. Now, just watch this for a second, Kelly. So I'm going to see how I have that orange there. Watch. I'm going to go in with just a wet brush and drip water. Do you see that move down the drip? Now, if you want it darker, pick up more pigment and look at this. Do you see that? How I'm dabbing? And the pigment is going to stay in the lines.
Because of the surface.
Does this make sense? Yeah?
Cool. Yeah. Science. I love it.
I know, right? And I tend to keep my flour sackcloth under me to pick up that extra drip that's coming off the bottom of the page. But you can add more water to lighten it up. Sometimes maybe I want to have like a little side road over here. I don't know. Think of them like ant trails. I don't know.
Now, Jen, if mine isn't going down the drip, that means I don't have enough water.
You don't have enough water, but you also, mine I'm holding it almost flat so you guys can see. Don't hesitate to hold your paper straight up and down too. That will help your drips move. I'm just holding it more straight because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. But you can also add more water. The color pigment is going to the water slide park. I love it. Yes. So when you're ready for your next color, you're going to draw on your own drip shape. And then you're going to pick up your pigment for your next color and touch it to that water slide. That's a good way of describing it.
I like that. Someone says, would this technique work with pulling the pigment from distressed crayons or inks instead of watercolor pencils?
Definitely inks. Distressed crayons are a whole nother beast. I love them. I just don't get as much movement from them. So you might find this technique a little bit trickier. But you definitely could use your distress ink pads where you kind of smoosh them down onto a non-porous surface and pick up the pigment for sure.
Now that I'm going back in, the two things that help me, if anyone else needs help, because I've never done anything like this before, was adding way more water and the tilt. I have it tilted at like almost like a 60-degree angle.
Yeah, almost have yours straight up and down. I'm only doing mine flat so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. And way more water than you think. You're not gonna, I can't imagine that there's a way of having too much water. But just keep within your tracks, like, and your water and your pigment should stay within the tracks. It's just meant to. It's not really gonna drip out of the lines. I just think it's so fun. We're like, oh, whoops, I've got dark color from the edge of my cup, but we're just playing. Oh my gosh, you can kind of keep going, but then you can go back and add some more.
I think Miles and his friends would love something like this.
Oh my gosh, yes. And you could do it with bigger paint brushes, especially if you wanted to do this with your kids or you wanted to get more practice in. I just think it's so fun.
This is really cool.
And I kind of get all my drips, this one row of straight drips. And then let me bring my card back into view. 1 second, balance my drips. And then I sometimes go back in and I do like a little off-roading drips, which is what I call kind of like this, where I'm kind of just filling in the space a little bit more so it's not all just one line. I mean, how awesome is this on a Friday night after working hard all week, right?
Making drip rainbows.
Yeah, I'm making drip rainbows. I mean, come on. I'm so thankful. This is my full-time job. What did you do today? I made drip rainbows. Sometimes I hear Chris, my boyfriend Chris is a web developer and he loves it. So this is no like his reflection. But sometimes I hear his work calls and I'm like, I just want to go make drip rainbows. I don't want to do what you guys are talking about.
Did you do the tumbled glass?
I did not. So I'm only using Salty Ocean.
I think because I didn't sort of space proper. I think I'm gonna add the tumbled glass in for myself.
You can add the tumbled glass, or you can add an off-road drip where you branch off. Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Let's see. We'll see. I'm gonna try only because tumbled glass.
There's no wrong or right way.
I think the color of my water is starting to influence my drip.
I would be surprised. I would think maybe you have pigment on the edge of your cup that you're picking up. Because like I was saying, I literally have dirty water for days and days and days, and it does not affect my colors. So
really? Okay, yeah. So
yeah, but what's happening for me is I have some color on the edge of my cup, and I accidentally touched that. So that might be happening for you. We kind of had like a running joke during my art retreat this past weekend where we were trying to keep our paint water really dirty. Which is really hard, really hard for majority of my attendees, because I know majority are super type A, but I was trying to get us to be a little bit more free. And you'll see you can start to really kind of blend your color up at the top from the pink to the orange, keeping things, you know, wet. And I'm kind of thickening up my ground a little bit.
This really is so fun.
Right?
Yeah. This is really cool.
It's so fun. Again, I just think the freedom of it is really cool, but yet you are controlling it. You're deciding where your drips are, you know, by putting that first line of water down.
Yeah.
So it looks very chaotic, but it's actually your chaos. So here's my background. Barbara says, make a fork in the road. The adventure awaits. I love that. Yay. Aw, thank you, Melissa. She says we're all so glad this is your full-time job.
Me too.
Well, thankful to Lawn Fawn for being so awesome with all their fun products. All right, so I'm going to dry this with my heat tool. And oh my gosh, Kelly, that looks awesome. I love it.
I just want to go back in now and like connect them to the ground.
Yep. So I'm just using my heat tool, and when I do, I like to pick my paper up off my table surface. My table surface is made out of glass, but just picking it up helps the heat bounce. It goes through the paper and then it bounces off the table, and it heats from the back so that it will dry both ways, and it'll actually dry things a lot faster. How's everybody doing? So anybody super nervous, not sure what they're doing? Let me know if you guys have any questions.
Oops.
But those are my two, well, actually 3 fun techniques with distress watercolor pencils that I wanted to share with you guys this month.
This is so fun.
Yay. Yeah, the paper isn't going to warp as much because we didn't use as much water. But I don't want you to ever worry about paper warping when you're watercoloring. That's just the nature. Because we're adding water to the paper, it's going to move around. But once we attach it to our card base or our pattern paper, whatever, it's not going to matter. And Marcy says she has an uneven ground. So what I would ask you is, are you saying it doesn't feel very straight? You could kind of maybe thicken it and straighten things out a little bit. Mine is not, I'm sure mine is not straight either. And honestly, once we start putting our little elements on here, our cute little critter and our little cart, I don't think it's going to make a big difference. Tammy says, mine looks like a row of 7s. So what I'm guessing is maybe you have like a line and a straight down and a line and a straight down. So maybe, Tammy, you could add in a few little off-roading where you kind of add a second row like I did with the purple and the blue and the green. Maybe that'll help, and maybe be a little bit more wiggle with your brush.
Yeah, that's what I think I need to do next time I do this technique, is do more.
A little bit more movement. Yeah.
Yeah, because mine ended up being, but I think it'd be fun to make like a little jellyfish out of these.
I do too. I think somebody said that in the comments. I'll
Oh, really?
to,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Love
Yeah, I'll have to do that.
Oh my gosh.
Muncie. It's a rolling hill. That's perfect. It'll be easier to push the cart, the heavy ice cream cart on it.
Yeah, you just push and let go.
Yeah. I love it. Well, even if this is, I mean, I'm assuming this is the first time many of you have done anything like this. So I always like to remind people, be kind to yourself. I've done this many, many, many times. And so maybe this isn't the background that you're going to complete your card on tonight. Maybe you're going to try this again. I would say don't give up. If you don't like the way it looks now, try making another one. But don't feel you have to put your, colored images on here tonight. You can always try to make another one. Maybe when there's a little less pressure, you're not feeling like you have to keep up with us. Working at your own pace also might be helpful as well.
I feel that way about coloring too. Like if I color something that doesn't quite look right, that's okay. I can stamp and color another one.
Exactly. It's just paper. So what I'm going to do with both of my backgrounds is I am going to trim them down. Again, bonus points if you want to run yours through your die cut machine with the outside in stitched rectangle from Lawn Fawn. That will give you, oh, I actually already trimmed mine. So maybe on my homework, I already told you to trim it, Kelly. I might have lied to you. Yeah.
Let's see.
So, but you can give yourself a larger border if you want.
Well, I have one that's 4¼ by 5½. I might just have not, I may, we may not have followed directions over here.
Well,
yeah. So we just have because we just took the pieces out, of the pack,
Yeah. But you want them to be, just so there's no confusion, I would recommend them being 4 by 5¼ because I'm going to add them to some pattern paper. So you get this cute little border. All right. Careful.
I'm out here burning myself. It's fine.
Please don't do that.
I do it on my curling iron like a lot.
Like a lot. So the next thing I think we should do is on our banner background, I stamped one of the sentiments directly on the background. So we've already, part of the homework was already to have your stitched banner stamped, but yes, it's a real day. We're going to stamp directly on our background. So I've lost all my pieces. Oh, here we go. So what I would do is just kind of get a sense where, Happy Ice Cream Day is going to go. I don't want to put my banner down just yet. And I'm going to be brave. I always use acrylic blocks to do my sentiments, but I don't always do that during lives. But I'm going to be brave. We'll see how this goes. And this sentiment is from the Treat Cart Sentiment add-on. There's a lot of really fun sentiments in here.
I love those sentiments because they're cute with the treat cart, but they're cute with like any ice cream die cut or they're just fun.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I'm die cutting. I'm die cutting with my outside in here.
Oh, good. So
I'll show what that looks like.
It looks so good.
I gotta tell you, this is just flying by because this is such a fun technique,
Oh, yay. I'm so glad, Kelly. Gail says, oh my gosh, that was so cool. I'm going to keep making these drippy cards. I love it. So make sure you guys, those of you that are creating along with us tonight, Make sure you guys do share with us what you've made, even if it's like not with the treat cart or whatever. Like, don't feel you can't share. We're just so happy that you're here with us tonight. So make sure you tag Lawn Fawn, and you can also tag me, Jen Shirkus. I love to see what you guys create. That's the one thing about online that I do miss, is I can't walk around the room and see what everybody's got going on.
So we have to do the virtual version of that.
Yeah, exactly. By sharing it online. All right, so now I'm going to attach both of these backgrounds to my red pattern paper. This is from the pint-sized summer pattern papers, which I love so much. And I'm just going to use like flat adhesive. I use my big honkin' ATG gun, but this is going to lay this panel down nice and flat, and you're not going to see that it wasn't so flat a few minutes ago. While we're doing this, Kelly, do you want to remind everybody about Inspiration Week and what's going on at Lawn Fawn headquarters?
That's exactly what I was just thinking about. Okay, so Inspiration Week is June 12th. So Wednesday, our Inspiration Week featuring this summer release begins. We're going to have design team cards, videos, giveaways every day. So you definitely need to check that out on June 12th. So we're so excited about that. And on June 22nd, if you're in Southern California, we are doing an event called Shop and Create at LFHQ. And here you can see what that Shop and Create at LFHQ. And so that's June 22nd. And on our site, and Shari's going to link this right now so that you guys can see, we have hour-long time periods. So it's an hour-long time to shop here at our warehouse. We're going to have a make and take, and all of your favorite Frannies are going to be hanging out here. So it's going to be super fun. We're so excited about it. And one of the time slots is already sold out. The other ones, we added some extra spots, but they're selling out quick. So if you're in Southern California, please come and say hello. And so check that out, and you can sign up on the website, and we really look forward to seeing you guys. This is the first time we've ever done something like this, so we're super excited about it. So that is Shop and Create at LFHQ, and that is going to be on June 22nd.
Yay. And the East Coast Faunies will be there in spirit.
I know, in spirit. This is why we need teleporters.
I know, right? All right, so I'm taking all of my images off of the low-tack tape that I used to help me color. And just so you know, I'm not throwing this away. I'm sticking it to my desk because I will use it for die cutting and holding, die cuts in place and coloring. It gets used until it can't get used anymore. So it's definitely not wasteful. And now we're going to glitter all of the things. I actually think it's been a while since we've glittered during a Create With Us. But this is Lawn Fawn Prisma glitter. And I feel that ultrafine glitter sometimes gets a bad rap. Everybody always immediately thinks that it's messy. But I do find that if you follow my tips and tricks and you practice, glittering doesn't have to be messy. My first tip for you guys is to contain your glitter. So this is just a container that's 5.5 by 5.5. Anything smaller than this, I feel like there's more chance of your glitter kind of spilling off the edges. My other tip for you guys is to use my most favorite glue pen, which is the Sakura Quickie Glue Pen. This brand glue pen is what I've been using for way too many years. I don't want to confess how many years because it'll show how old I'm getting. And so I don't personally use tweezers, but if you really like to use tweezers, now's a good time to use tweezers. But what I'm going to do is, like, on the awning of the treat cart, I'm going to use my Quickie Glue Pen, and I'm going to trace a little glue where we did the shadow. So wherever it is that we colored the shadow, and I do a few stripes of the awning at once. I don't want to do them all at once because the Quickie Glue Pen actually dries really quick. And then I take my treat cart and I'll dip it straight in and straight out. And if you'll look, when I first take it out, there's a lot of extra glitter. I'm not going to touch that with my hands, but what I'm going to do is take my pen and tap the edge of the cardstock, and that's going to drop off all that extra static cling, just leaving the glitter where we want it. I never, ever, ever touch the glitter. If I accidentally drop something in the glitter, that is when I grab my tweezers to fish it out. And when I'm dipping, I go straight in and straight out. I don't kind of like floof it like you do when you're baking or whatever. All those things I don't really know because I don't cook. But I just go straight in and straight out, and then I tap it with my pen, and that'll drop off all the extra glitter. So I'm doing those shadow lines on the awning, and on the handout, I listed what I glittered. So if you're, not ready to glitter or you're going to glitter later, I always list that out for people in my classes. And then I'm going to trace the frame of the menu board, like the inner frame where the words are on one and where the ice cream is on another. You also don't have to glitter everything exactly like me. I just know people ask, so that's why I'm saying. But if you're like, I don't want to glitter that, that's fine too.
And then somebody was asking, where is the best place to eat near LFHQ? The good thing is there's a lot of stuff around here. Like we've got typical things like BJ's Pizza and Jersey Mike's, but there's also like a cool boba place. And gosh, I'm trying to think of everything else that we like around here. But there's stuff that's close. I mean, technically you could even walk, but you'd probably want to drive. But yeah, there's a lot of food really close to here. So that makes it nice and easy. And there's like a Target, all the suburban things.
So the other thing I like to do when I'm glittering is kind of have a larger piece to dip into the glitter. So even though we're going to add glitter to the popsicle, I'm going to add the popsicle to the bear's hands first. So I'll have the whole bear to hold on to when I go to dip into the glitter. And then our other bear is going to hold the triple scooped ice cream, which, hello, who doesn't want that right now? I did not have dinner yet, and it's 9 o'clock at night. So I'm ready for a triple scooped ice cream.
Right? I already had
so
the shake equivalent of that.
yeah. So I'm putting the cone in his hand, and then I'm going to put the purple scoop, which is black raspberry ice cream, which is my favorite. And then I'll put another little dot of glue, and I'll put that third scoop. Oh, I'm like, where did mine go? Here it is. While those are drying, because I know wet glue just takes a minute to set, I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to my mini sweet treats. And I essentially just added a little bit on the tops and on the right side. So I'm just kind of doing a little trace of the right side of the ice cream, the snow cone, and the popsicle. And then we also have our little banner. And again, I just traced the line where we did the shadow. And if you chose to just do one color, I would just trace the right side of the banner. That's fine too. I just think it looks so cute, you guys. So the popsicle that the bear is holding, I added a little bit of glitter to make a highlight on the popsicle. So on the right side on the top, where we didn't shadow. And I did the same thing with the ice creams. So the right side, adding a little bit of sparkle to the highlights.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so excited some of you guys are coming to the LFHQ
So
event.
fun.
I know everyone here is so excited. We're excited to have company over.
Yay. And then just one little or two little things that I'm going to do for little details. And I think these were just optional supplies. is I'm going to use that white gel pen to add a little dot on their rosy cheeks. And then I like to use the Sakura black lace pen. And I'm just going to add that to their noses. Whenever you go to use a black lace pen after a while, it always forms like this little crust on the tip of the pen. So I just take the tip of the pen and I just kind of roll it on its side to get that off and to get the black to just kind of flow again. It's just the nature of that black lace pen. But I'm adding just a little bit to the bear and the bear's and the fox's nose. It just is a little added something. You don't necessarily need to do it, but it does look really cute. And a black lace pen will last you for a wicked long time. And then I'm just going to start to assemble my cards. So I'll zoom out and bring the card into focus of the one I'm going to build first. So you can kind of see as I'm creating. Again, on the handout, I list what I popped up and what I didn't. That's something also that I always give for all of my handouts. So if you're, assembling at a different pace, that's totally okay as well. And yeah, you can let us know if we missed any questions or if you have any other questions. So Kelly, the release in at the end of August,
Yes,
is fall and holiday, right?
Yes, fall and holiday, winter. So I'm so excited about that release. And we might have another little extra thing. Someone asked if it was kit. It's not a kit, but it's cool. It's brand new and totally different. And so I don't know the exact date yet. We're still sorting that out, but it's going to happen sometime in the summertime. So there's something else fun to look forward to. And then, of course, our fall winter release as well.
Ooh, sounds exciting. Oh, yay. I'm glad you like the glittering. I can't wait to see your cards.
Oh, I know. Everyone has to share because I bet everyone's backgrounds look totally unique, which is so fun.
Yeah, that's the other fun thing about watercoloring is it's never going to look the same twice. And that's kind of fun. And I kind of find like whatever mood I'm in is, kind of tells me how my backgrounds are going to be.
I like that.
Yeah.
Wait, so what kind of mood makes what kind of background?
Well, if I'm like in a like not so great mood, they're very like bold and like aggressive.
I love it.
But it is fun to just sometimes when maybe your brain is a little tired from the week to just kind of sit down at your crafty space, whatever that is, the kitchen table, whatever, and just make some backgrounds. It doesn't always have to be a completed project.
Oh, I love that. That's a good advice. Because yeah, sometimes you just, especially after a long week, you can't.
Well, I think we sometimes, put that pressure on ourselves to like, oh, I gotta make a finished card. No, you don't. Just watercolor a bunch of backgrounds or ink blend a bunch of backgrounds, and then you'll have them on hand for when you're in the mood to put them together into something.
I know Lynette from our design team, she likes to sit and color in front of the TV. So she always has a bunch of images.
Love that.
And then she puts them into cards. And I love that. So it's like whatever your thing is that relaxes you, that's a good time to do it because you've got that kind of relaxing time or something in front of the TV, I think those are such great ideas.
Yeah. think sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be like, well, I have to make this completed project. It's like, no, you don't. Not at all. Who says so?
Yeah, there's no craft police.
Nope.
So someone is asking about retired sets, and does Lawn Fawn ever re-release any sets? So we actually don't usually, but there is one that because we're re-releasing it soon. I'm not sure when, and we will release others because we really want to do that. It's been a big request, but there's one that is my son's absolute favorite, and it's retired. So we're gonna bring it back, but I'm not quite sure exactly when yet. But sometime this year we'll bring back that stamp set, and I hope you guys are gonna love it.
Make sure you guys are all subscribed to Lawn Fawn's email newsletter, and make sure that you're actually opening the email so that your email client will know that it's an email you actually want to get. And make sure you add info@lawnfawn.com into your address book. All those things will help assure that those emails are getting to you so that you can be in the know of all these fun things that are up and coming.
Oh, yes, sure. I love how you put the little banner in the background. I think that's so cute.
Thanks.
Like I kept putting on it where you stamped ice cream is where I've been putting it. But I think
I actually saw that after I made mine. I'm like, oh, everybody's putting it on the front. I'm like, yeah, well, I tend to.
That's what's so cute. And then some people have
Yeah.
used it as like a decoration, in there, like on the edges of the cards, like as if it was like a little party or something.
I love that too. Yeah.
Well,
and this is a great example, you guys. If you see my card on the left, my water drips are a lot lighter than the one I made with you guys tonight. So there you go. I don't know what that says about my mood right now.
I was gonna say, how are you feeling?
I'm probably really hungry for ice cream right now, and
yeah, your tummy is starting to be angry now.
Yeah,
and it's like, be bold, get me ice cream.
Exactly. All right, so I'm going to put together my second card. And for the second card, I do recommend you pop up your banner first, tucked into the sentiment that we stamped, and then just kind of build the rest of your scene up. The banner is kind of going to be the ground that your items are going to kind of rest on. So I don't want you to start at the top and then find you don't have room for your banner. Let us know in the chat, maybe what was your favorite item from the summer release. Oh my gosh, there were so many fun things.
Oh my gosh,
the stamp sets, the dies. I'll tell you a funny little story. Like I mentioned, I do live on Cape Cod in Massachusetts, and so I am a part-time mermaid, which doesn't mean that I dress up for kids' parties as a mermaid. It just means I love to spend time at the beach. But I had asked Kelly which set she wanted me to teach with during Create With Us, because sometimes I'll ask her and listen. Sometimes I just do my own thing. But she was like, well, I would really like you to use either Treat Cart or Critters in the Desert. And I replied to her, I go, well, this mermaid is going to be working with Treat Cart because mermaids don't hang out in the desert. Although I love that set. I'm actually using it tomorrow during an online event with Firefly Farm. But I was like, I think I'm going to be more inspired with the Treat Cart. And Kelly replied, she goes, oh yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Cause the desert set, I love it. It has my heart, but I get it. It is lacking in any
water.
kind of water. Hey.
Oh, look at that. So cute.
I know. And then I'm going to do stickles because, Shari was just here. So
yep.
I feel like
fine.
Fine. I know. Well, it's the Shari influence.
I hear ya. So same thing with this treat cart. I'm going to kind of add some glue to my bear's feet. And then I'm going to stick him in the treat cart first before I kind of put my foam on there. And I always like to kind of tuck him in, but have him come up on the top a little bit. So he's not behind the awning completely. So I have my flower sackcloth in my lap most times, but I keep like putting it aside tonight. And I actually have like nice clothes on because we quickly ran to a launch party downtown before the event. So I have like not crafty clothes on. And I almost always keep going to wipe my hands on my dress. And I'm like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. Not the nice dress.
Not the nice dress. So out of
I know.
practice.
I, on the other hand, I was at the park this morning with Miles and I sat in random park waters. So I have the opposite thing going on.
Fun.
And yeah, it happens. You know, parks have these weird like foam grounds and they retain the water. And so I think it sprinkles and you can't see it. And then I had a wet bum.
That's funny. I love reading everybody's favorite set or favorite supply from the summer release. Lots of kites, mice.
Ooh, yay. Oh, now I gotta see.
What day is ice cream day? I need to start making cards in advance.
I know people are trying to guess what set based on Miles's favorites. Well, one of Miles's favorite things in the world is the world. He loves countries and states. He knows all the states, all the capitals. He knows all 195 countries.
I was going to say, what does he know really well? Yeah.
Yep, that's his favorite thing in the world, is learning about the world.
Ooh, the gumball dies. I've seen that a couple times.
The gumball machine is so cool. Oh my gosh, how gorgeous would some of these watercolor techniques look? You could make do a rainbowy gumball machine and do the watercolor gumballs.
Yep.
Ooh, or like drip background and then put the gumball machine on that. That would be gorgeous.
Guys know I'm going to be so excited when Kelly breaks out the watercolor pencils for an intro video. It starts dripping.
It starts dripping. Yeah, you're going to be like, all right. That's it. Kelly's finally been converted.
I love it. And then there's that second card. So fun. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. I know. I'm finishing up. I'm doing my layout of my second card now.
No problem. Yeah, every day is ice cream day. I agree with Margot.
I like every day is ice cream day. Yep, Margot's correct. Oh, and someone said they love the desert background. The desert background, I love it so much. And what I like about it too is it's a desert background, but as Shari said, it could be any kind of canyon. So you could also make it like this gorgeous flower-filled, canyon as well, which I think would be really pretty.
Laura's guessing for the retired set that's going to come back, maybe Rum-Pa-Pum-Pum. And I know if that was the case, Shari would be very happy.
Yeah. We'll have to bring them all back eventually. They all deserve their day in the sun. We always actually feel like this tremendous amount of guilt when we retire a stamp set because they're like our friends. Yeah, I feel bad. You have to say, you have to just go away for a little bit.
You have to go away for a little bit.
We need space. We're in Southern California. We don't have an excess of space.
Aw. Well, while everybody is finishing up their cards, I just want to remind you guys that you can catch the past Create With Us's, and you can still download all the previous handouts. Again, we've been doing these since 2021, the spring of 2021. So there's quite a few out there. You can watch the replays. You don't even have to watch the replays if you don't want to. Just downloading the handouts, I think, are a great resource to have, just to kind of get those creative juices flowing. I also would love to invite all of you guys to check out my online classes. A lot of the time I will coordinate with a Create With Us, and I give different coloring guides and even more card ideas. And I hear from a lot of my class attendees how they're seeing an improvement in their coloring, and they're just so happy at the amount of cards that they're making, and they're happy that they're actually using their supplies. And I love to hear all of those things. It makes me so happy. So in the summer, I don't teach as many online classes because mermaiding. But like I mentioned, I am going to be teaching Beachcomber live in 2 weeks from today. And there are kits available for those that you can purchase through my website, or you can kit for yourself, whichever way you want to do it. And then I also have 2 self-paced classes this summer, which means I won't be teaching live, but you will have access to the videos. And one is Bring Your Green Thumb. You don't really need to have a green thumb because I don't. But we are actually making a bunch of really fun gardening cards with various sets from the spring release. And then the other one is How Art Can It Be? And if you want to play with your distress watercolor pencils some more, that's what we're doing. And we're combining stamped images with the really cute dies, standalone dies from Lawn Fawn, which I think sometimes people need some ideas for. So How Art Can It Be? And Beachcomber, we are going to be doing some more watercoloring. So remember, the more you practice, the better you'll get at it. And then Bring Your Green Thumb has some really fun techniques in it, and we are going to concentrate on coloring and scene building and all the things that you expect from all my classes. You don't need to have a Facebook account. They're all in unlisted YouTube videos. You get access to the resource pages where there's downloadable handouts, and they're just a lot of fun. I would absolutely love for you to join me. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me through my website. I see Shari is linking those classes. Thank you so much, Shari. And we'll have more Create With Us sessions in the fall. And like Kelly said, we do announce those on release day. So at the end of August, when we have our release, we will announce what the Create With Us classes are, what sets we're using, and you can download the handouts right away. Those look amazing, Kelly. Yay, look at you.
Hey, I did it. Oh, it was so fun. Oh, this is just what I needed. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so excited. They look amazing. 1 second. I was trying to bring us both on screen, but let's see here. 1, 2, 1. Oh, why is this? What am I doing here?
Someone was asking, how do you know when, I'm guessing they mean a stamp set goes on the retired list. So usually it just means that for a long time, it hasn't been, most of these stamp sets, they had their day in the sun, maybe 12 years ago, and people just aren't quite buying them anymore because they're older. And so we'll retire them because we need space here in our warehouse, because we are in Southern California where space is at a premium. So that's why we have to retire things sometimes. But when we hear from you guys that you really want something back, we will try to bring it back. And so we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna have one at some point this year. I don't know the exact time yet, and it's Miles's favorite stamp set. And I gave a little hint earlier as to what that might be. And so so we're really excited about that. But please keep letting us know your favorites, because we'll try to bring some back. We also have Inspiration Week on June 12th. So there's going to be giveaways, design team cards, intro videos, all featuring the summer release as well. And that's starting on June 12th. And then June 22nd, if you live in Southern California, we are having Shop and Create at LFHQ. And that's going to be amazing. We're going to have shopping right here in the warehouse. There is an hour-long time slot. So we have a sign up on our website. The spots are running out. I know there's one slot already signed up or sold out. We also added extra spots to other slots. So it's selling out quickly. We'll have a make and take as well. So it's going to be a fun little hour. Someone was asking, there's a lot of places to eat around here. We're in South Orange County. In a town called Rancho Santa Margarita. So that helps you guys some. So we really look forward to seeing you there. We have our fall winter release August 22nd, which is going to be fall winter holiday. And there is going to be a surprise sometime this summer, something really cool, brand new. I'm excited about it. So that's going to be really fun. And we're hard at work at that. So as soon as that's out, we will definitely be doing videos, emails, etc. Make sure to be signed up for our newsletter, and also to follow us on Facebook and Instagram and all the other places that you like to follow people at.
Yay. And I see a few of you that might have given up on your watercolored backgrounds, and I totally understand, but I would really encourage you guys to try, maybe come back to this replay and go back to those, that part of the video and just try again. Just for me, just try, because I think the more that you do it, that you'll kind of be able to embrace it a little bit more. And the teacher in me wants you to be successful. So I know sometimes it takes a little bit more practice, but thank you for everybody that created along with us, chatted with us tonight. We love, love, love these evenings with you guys. We look forward to them so much.
So
It's
much.
just
We
been,
also have somebody.
yeah.
Awesome. Someone's asking if the Lady Scarecrow's coming. I know you would want to hear that. And she is. You Crow Girl is coming out for the fall winter release. So don't worry, she's coming.
So I was going to say, when Kelly was talking about how Lawn Fawn doesn't typically retire sets unless people just aren't buying them anymore. And I almost like cut you off and was like, and that's why Shari and I use Happy Harvest religiously every fall, even in the summer, even in the winter. We figure out a way to use him because he is the Scarecrow set and he is never going away, like your Gleeful Gardens. But yeah,
Yes.
so the female Scarecrow is coming out in the fall, which I will give you guys a little sneak peek too, which also means that Shari and I will be teaching an online class together again this fall with Happy Harvest and with his new friend. We're very excited.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for that. They are so cute together. Someone did ask a really good question, Jen. That might be something nice to talk about right before. Someone's asking, do you need to use watercolor paper?
Oh, yeah, definitely use watercolor paper when you're using any wet medium. Because if you're using just maybe what you color with your alcohol-based markers, it's going to kind of pill the cardstock and warp it for sure. And the pigment of your watercolor pencils or even your ink pads, whatever you're watercoloring with, the color's just not going to move around really well. So definitely having the right tools will help set you up for success as well. And we kind of shared a lot of different information with you guys tonight, but just remember there is that downloadable handout, which has a supply list for each of the cards and what we used. So you can kind of have that for some guidance. And also you can come back to this video and you're more than welcome, obviously, to reach out to Lawn Fawn. But when it comes to specific questions about these classes, I'm happy to answer any questions. So you can reach out to me as well, either through my website or through my social media. You can find me everywhere as well. So yeah. So I use Distress Watercolor cardstock, which is what is listed on the handout, and it is also available in Lawn Fawn's website as well.
But you can use any watercolor paper.
Yes,
that you
yeah,
have on
you
hand,
don't.
or you can local craft store. Yeah, so whatever you can get your hands on.
Yep.
Because I know a lot of you guys are going to be excited to keep trying these techniques. So whatever you can get your hands on is going to work. But the Distress Watercolor is beautiful. It's nice paper. So
for sure. Another question I just saw, Kelly, is will the mice make an appearance in the new release?
Not only do they make an appearance in our fall winter release, but it is like a long requested thing that they're doing. So you're gonna love it. It's like that one, I keep smiling. The puns, there's so many. It's so good.
Yay. Well, thank you, Gail. I'm so glad you had a fantastic time, and we're always happy to answer your questions. Rosalinda says she's off to purchase some supplies. I love it. So that means you're inspired. Thank you so much, Barbara. I love teaching paper crafting. I love it. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Yeah. And this was so fun, Jen. I mean, all Create With Us are fun, but I had a blast. And I really did two things I've never done before. And I've been crafting for a long time. So I think that's so fun. I love that there's always something new to learn and new to try. I think, which is just so awesome.
And I secretly love getting you out of your comfort zone. It's so fun for me because I just love hearing your excitement. It's contagious. And I think many card makers are similar to you, where you are a little bit type A. Not that that's bad.
I
So
mean,
I think it's good to kind of shake things up a little bit. And again, I just
I'm a
absolutely
little,
loved hearing your excitement. Yeah.
I'm wound a little tight. It's good for me to
You said it, not me.
I mean, yeah, I can say it about myself. I'm just a little, I'll put it this way, you guys. I do not drink coffee. I do not have any caffeine. This is
She's
my
like this
natural.
all day. She's like this after a
And
long day at a
by
trade
the way, and
show.
this is me exhausted. I had to take like a half-hour nap because we just had a lot going on here before the class. Just to, I just am like this. It's funny. My brother and I were talking about how we both don't have coffee because he's the same as I am. We're both just highly energetic people that don't. Probably it's best that we don't have caffeine so that we don't make people crazy.
Yeah. I love it.
You would talk too fast.
Somebody said that
But
they just are joining us, and I just want to reassure them they can go back and watch the replay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have the replay not only of this class. There'll be a replay of this, but also all the previous Create With Us's, including the last one, which was also these same pencils and techniques, but totally different techniques with them. So if you didn't do the class the previous time, which was about our stitched garden and root veggies, definitely check those out, because if you had fun today, you're going to have a lot of fun using the markers in that way. Because it was, I mean, not the markers, excuse me, the pencils. Yeah, the distress pencils. It was a totally different way to use them. So I think that's really cool to see how many things you can do. And once again, you can be inspired by these techniques and use watercolors if you have them, or use your distress inks or your Lawn Fawn inks. So a lot of these techniques you can try with different tools. If you don't happen to have the pencils, you can still be inspired by all of these.
For sure. Yay. A big bug just landed on the screen window outside. I only just heard it. It was like, because I have the window open, and it just was like, boom. I can kind of see it. I'm glad there's a screen there. Sorry, I got a little distracted. Well, thank you guys so much. Again, we hope to see you in another Create With Us. We'll probably have 2 of them during the fall. We typically do 2 around a big release. And again, we announce all those details on release day, so you can kind of maybe plan your dates and maybe plan your shopping if you want to create along with us. And yeah, make sure you tag Lawn Fawn, tag me in what you created. And again, thank you so much for spending your evening with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for getting crafty on a Friday night with us. We appreciate you guys so much. Like Jen said, share your cards, because all these backgrounds are going to be unique, and it's going to be so much fun to see everybody's. And we just appreciate you guys so much for coming here and creating with us and having all the crafty fun. And we can't wait to see you guys all next time too.
I'm just laughing at all your bug comments. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night. Bye.
Thank you guys.